welcome back. Segment 4. We're really uneven tonight, so we're continuing what we were saying in segment 3. Please go on.
Yeah, but the in 2004 there was actually an independent analysis of the voice by some people in Switzerland, and they said that they believed that the tape was not genuine, even though the CIA said otherwise at the time. Possibly to attempt to make sure that that there was no officially that there was no doubt about it.
And then, of course, there's the videotape where he had his where he had his beard dyed. Do you remember that whole weirdness?
Oh yeah, that guy. I mean, I don't know.
He didn't even look like.
Yeah, I don't know who ISI is hiring to be extras in those things, but they need a better casting agency.
But anyway, so that was just a very surreal episode. So, I mean, I would recommend that anybody go and watch this past week's Meet the Press if you're at all interested in the stuff that goes on in this part of the world. As far as you co-hosting, I'm sorry, we've got things pretty packed. Sorry, I don't know how we'd fit you in. You could maybe send us a PM about it if you have an actual idea. But for right now, we're just going to go on with the show. Since we're all running all over the place, do you want to say anything else? Oh, with the SWAT offensive, we didn't talk about that yet. The SWAT offensive continues. What did it? Was about 1.3 million people estimated to have left there.
There was a new article in Dawn today claiming that the new estimate is 1.7 million people.
Okay, I didn't look at Dawn today. Dawn is the English language
that's displaced people in the entire country, so that includes people from other parts of Pakistan where there is fighting. So.
I was going to say it sounds like most of SWAT.
That is most of SWAT.
I was going to say, is there anybody left in SWAT at all, except for the fighters?
Yeah, well, I mean, Zardari said on Meet the Press that he has 125,000 troops in the offensive, so they're there.
But we don't want to see your penis. See the fun you guys miss when you don't come to the live show? Just keep talking and I'll kick.
Yeah. And then there's the and
you were talking before we went on the air about how I think it was before we went on the air about how most of them are settling in refugee camps. Maybe it was in an email that are conveniently close to the
area that you
lines.
flee into from SWAT turns out to be the lower Kabul Valley, which is of course the supply lines leading directly to the U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. And so they're literally fleeing from SWAT right into the refugee camp next to the truck depots that are supplying U.S. forces in Afghanistan.
And of course,
which get bombed on a regular basis.
From an ethnic perspective, these people don't really distinguish between themselves and the people from Afghanistan who had been in the refugee camps anyway. This is fairly arbitrary white man drawing lines, I've been thinking a lot about the fact that moving forward in terms of forms of government, what we really, really need to do is find a way to allow tribalism and tribal identity to exist, yet have people be incorporated into a larger government, because whether we like it or not, we have global issues. So we need some sort of global group. Not saying global government, but we need a global group.
I think that people at first, the main thing about tribal identity, don't let the government tell you what your tribal identity is, okay?
Exactly. So
that's where a lot of the trouble starts.
I don't have the answers or anything, but this is just something I've been thinking about, is finding some way to allow, the tribes in this region to somehow be functional within the nation states as they exist now, but they're probably going to have to change. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. So we can do this part quick. People who were arrested who shouldn't have been. The chick in Iran who got no, you don't have to worry about not saying a lot. The chick in Iran who got... You can ask questions at the end. The chick in Iran who got arrested, she was an Iranian-American journalist. She was let out, and she's staying with friends in Austria. I don't know what's going on with the women in North Korea. Do you know what's up with them?
I think that it's been confirmed that they're in custody, and that there are plans to put them on trial, but I mean, I don't think anybody's met them in custody, put it that way.
So that they're still in there, and another person who was arrested who shouldn't have been was Aung San Suu Kyi, who's the activist from Myanmar or Burma, whatever you want to call
Well,
it.
I mean, she was already under house arrest,
Yeah,
but
but she was
has
taken to a
been more
prison,
arrested.
and there's a totally infamous prison in Myanmar. I think that the locals call it the Crazy House, and that's where they
Yeah.
took her before when they took her out of house arrest and put her in jail. So not a nice place. Not like a club-fed, minimum security, white-collar thing.
Yeah, compared with where we're going to put Dick Cheney, I mean,
I mean, I'd say that just being there would be a
yeah.
form of torture, even if they weren't actively torturing you. So,
Of course, Dick Cheney will probably have to be put in a mercenary-proof enclosure, and I recommend Midway Island for that. In 1942, it survived a full assault by the Imperial Japanese Navy, and so it's unlikely that Dick Cheney can come up with something as powerful as that.
right? Hey, it's cool if he's here if he doesn't understand. I'm talking about the text now. Maybe he wants to learn. That's totally cool. But yeah, I mean, just definitely save your questions probably till the end. But we're almost there anyway. You wanted to talk about a person who was arrested who should have been arrested.
Oh yes,
On the other side of the
apparently in
coin.
protest of the Obama speaking at the graduation ceremonies at Notre Dame University, Alan Keyes has been arrested. So far, I've been unable to find the mugshot from the St. Joseph's County Sheriff's Department, but I'm sure that it will be out shortly.
And even though no one knows who Alan Keyes is, if nothing else, he will be remembered as the guy who ran against Barack Obama for his Senate seat and lost by 90% of the vote.
Yeah. And of course, Alan Keyes, did not, in fact, well, no, I think he says he ran for president in 2008, but then mysteriously showed up at the Republican debates because,
That was actually something I was
they,
incredibly pissed off about because they let Alan Keyes be in the debates, but they would not let Dennis Kucinich be in the debates because supposedly he did not have an
yeah.
office in the state because his state coordinator was working out of his house.
Didn't
Did
they
Alan-
also try to take Ron Paul out of that debate?
I think they did,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I don't remember if they succeeded. But the point is, I cannot fucking buy that Alan Keyes had a campaign headquarters in that state that was like a rented building that wasn't somebody's house.
Yeah, I think somebody at the Republican Party just decided, oh shit, we need a black guy. Who do we know?
Anyway, Alan Keyes is always good for a laugh. And Sworded, I don't get in too much to the World of Warcraft stuff, but I think that that's probably a compliment, so I take it as one. And Donna, don't worry about that. I was just like, if you just came over here from YouTube, you're probably just worked up and hostile
Yeah.
because it's the way people are. But it's hard to tell where people are coming from in text a lot. So I didn't get any like ickiness when he said that before. Anyway, um, so our position globally, we don't have one. Well, we're not really offended by that. We're not like typical in America like that. Typical Americans like that. Like it really doesn't bother
Yeah.
us for you to say America doesn't have standards.
Yeah, I mean, how much of it do we really need? I mean, we're sort of off in a corner,
The thing is, it's not like we hate our country or anything, but we feel that the current state of affairs, one world superpower, our military being the size of like all the next 100 militaries combined. I don't remember the actual statistic. I just made that up. We think that's totally not necessary, and we do not need to be the Roman Empire. So we're not upset to hear that we don't have a position as Americans.
Well, I
globally.
think what you might have been thinking of was the estimate that U.S. defense spending is about equal to all of the other countries in the world put together.
I think that probably is the number.
Yeah,
I'm
and
trying to go.
that although is that really a fair measurement? I mean, a lot of our military spending is waste. It doesn't
also,
really
a lot
go
of
to
our
anything.
military spending is spent supposedly protecting nations that don't need to be protected, like Western Europe. We're still protecting Western Europe from the Nazis. That's in our military budget. Can you believe that shit? I don't think that Hitler's going to come back and take France again. I'm just thinking probably not.
Yeah, I mean, and that if you look at the countries with top military spending other than the United States, Germany, France, and Britain are all in Europe.
Yeah.
I think they can defend themselves.
So yeah, we just, we're not offended by you saying that the U.S. has no standing. So we're coming to the end of this section. I'm going to push stop on the record, and then we'll come back for questions. So start thinking of your questions for us.